Hello and welcome to our daily sketching routine. It is Wednesday, August 27th, 2025, and today's topic is going to be a demo and process of a sunrise painting. But before we begin, welcome back if you're returning and welcome if you're new to the channel. I sketch and post every day and I use a timer to stay focused and to build a habit. I'll start a 10-minute timer. So today will be a little different. I'm going to work on this. Basically, it's at the detail stage, and I'm working from a reference photo that my mom took. So I'll put the reference photo up here. I also took some photos of the process, and so I'll edit that in later. It'll be like after this intro, and then I'll come back and kind of talk about what I'm doing here. But yeah, this will be kind of a quick walkthrough of the process. I kept the painting simple on purpose, but the main thing was to have a process. So for example, the thumbnail was helpful, and then the bigger version of it is about 4 times. So you would just get bigger brushes if you were going to do a bigger painting. So yeah, there's the reference photo that my mom took. I just liked it. I thought it had a cool effect and I wanted to paint it, and that's why it's good to do the thumbnails, so you can get just an idea. For example, I wanted to leave the white of the paper and then have the kind of the glowing effect from the sun be the pure color from the marker. In this next step, I just outlined it. So I left the white of the paper and outlined where the sun is, the light. And then in the next one, so I did all of these in the thumbnail, by the way, and that's why it's better. It helped a lot because I didn't have to think about certain things. Like I already kind of knew the effect. So I went ahead and painted everything in the background blue, and then I was going to cover it, and I knew that because of the thumbnail. So I covered it with the orange paint, and so some of the blue is coming through, and then I left the blue for the land. And then at this part I added the white paint because I wanted to go back over it, and I thought it would make it look different, just have some variety in the sky, and part of that is because of the acrylic paint effect. And then yeah, I went over it with the orange, and I felt like it did make it lighter. It gave it some variation. And then I left some of the blue in the water because I liked the look of it. It kind of looked similar to the reference without copying it. And then yeah, I added the foreground because I figured that the background was pretty much done, like the sky. So I added the tree or the leaves. Yeah, so at this point, you could have just kind of stuck with the acrylic paint look and figure out like how you wanted to do that. But since this is a mixed media, I knew I had markers and stuff. I went in with the darker orange marker, and that was pretty much it. I left it after that session. That was basically how far I got. It took me from the thumbnail to this point, maybe about an hour. Now I'm just going to do the detail is what I would call this part. There's more details in the other videos also about the materials, but I'm using these acrylic paint markers. They're Sharpie, but I'm going in with the alcohol Sharpie markers, and I'm going to do some blending. And so to me, like, that's part of the detailing, and you could skip it and just kind of stick with these, but it won't have like that blended look. I would use this to blend, so I let this dry overnight, and yeah, I'll have the picture up here, but I just kind of moved the paper around. And now, because of the detail, I'm kind of looking at, part of it is I'm looking at the reference, and part of it is I'm just making, there's differences obviously, and I wasn't trying to do a photorealistic picture, but you'll notice that I can get some like blending effects. And I would take my time with this detail stage, and this is more about getting the feel of it. And then I also have a scrap piece of paper that kind of sometimes gets clogged up. And yeah, this is mixed media. Part of it is I have these materials, so I just wanted to use them, and I've used them for a few different pieces. So at this detail stage, I don't really want to create more work for myself. I'm just kind of blending things, kind of harmonizing things. This pack of Sharpie markers, so I just kind of played around with, I think the darker orange was this one, but like I'm pretty okay with the, like how much is in there right now, so I'm just blending it. part of this is just the edges, and toning it. That's kind of another way to, I'm softening the edges basically and toning down the bright color, the primary kind of color, but also keeping it kind of simple. Like I kind of knew I wanted to, one, keep it sort of small, so compared to the thumbnail, so that I would call this a thumbnail, and then I would call this like it's a color sketch or like a color comp, which if I detail it, which I am, it can turn into an actual just small painting. Or if I just kind of leave it, then it would be like a color comp, meaning it kind of just tells me the color scheme and stuff. Or let's say I wanted to use like different acrylic paint or oil paint, or so for example, I can go over some of the like these white areas because I'm just kind of looking at the photo and just seeing and just getting like the vibe of it and making it more blended. Yeah, I did a video about these Tombow brush pens, so I was kind of curious what that would look like. So I'm just going to extend these leaves. I'm going to look at the reference here and yeah, just extend them, taper them out, and then make it kind of match the picture. But they work pretty good on here. Let me go back in and make these darker. Yeah, and just make the lines smaller. But sort of take your time and make the brush strokes count. You're not really wanting to create more work, you're wanting to detail. I also have these. I mean, it just depends on what you have. Like these are a Sharpie. I mean, they're alcohol, but they're slightly different. So yeah, you can get pretty good blending effects, but I wouldn't overwork it. So yeah, I'll add the process part of it before this. This is part of the 4-week commitment to sketching. Post a link to, but basically it's 4 weeks and we are on Wednesday, so Wednesday is complete. I'll collect all the videos together in a playlist after we're done. That'll be it for our daily sketching routine, and I want to thank you for joining me. And if you enjoy these videos, please support the channel. I appreciate it, and until next time, keep on sketching.